Hello everybody and welcome to Organian's Puzzle Box. So in the previous video we discussed about how you can hide blend between two layers and all the options that come with it. In today's video we're going to explore some extra additional features that comes with the Surface Forge, one of them being edge masking, another one being the ability to use a curvature layer and then also a slope layer. So this is going to further define your texturing capability inside of Unreal Engine. So when we look at the material blending for this material, we do have an option here where it says add edge noise to the B layer, which is this one running across these streaks over here. So I'm just going to enable that option. And then this gives us a new edge mask category, which is set to number 8. And I just want to show you kind of what it does. So right now it's 0.2 in contrast. I'm just going to increase its contrast or decrease it so you can kind of see that based on the noise, which is this one over here, it's kind of eating away at the edges of this hide blend. And this can come into, it can be quite interesting whenever you also have some height blending transitioning going on. And then you also want to add this edge noise, as you can see here. And you can also control it based on the RGB. It's a very light touch kind of an effect, but it does actually create a lot of breakup whenever you're dealing with large surfaces such as a building. So if you're on if you're, for example, on a mesh like, or a structure like this, like a big plane like this, or maybe even a wall or something like that, then it's going to come in, quite in handy whenever you're able to create a bit of a visual breakup in the effect. So for example, here there's multiple blends happening, or over here the same thing, multiple blends, and that edge mask just adds a lot more, sort of like a natural transition between each layer. So that's going to help you to further emphasize and change the way the blend works. Now the next option in our arsenal is the curvature. So we have in here a curvature manipulation. We can enable this and you will see that this is going to add a bit of texture variation, and it may not be apparent right now, but if we actually increase the contrast like that and then the intensity, you'll notice how the texture has darkened. And we can look at the curvature color and maybe make it into a red or a green or a blue or something like that. That just kind of gives us a clear glimpse at the actual effect. So obviously we have a very hard intensity right now, so maybe we don't want it to be that much. And then the contrast, maybe we want to do something like that, so it's not such a defined edge, right? But as you can see there, it's adding a lot of personality to this. Now, this is running based on a curvature map, and in this particular case, it's just a noise, right? But you can always transform this into an actual full-fledged layer. You also have controls for roughness and, that you can add roughness, you can multiply roughness, you can also increase its contrast. But one of the advantages of the curvature layer, like I said, is to become a full-fledged curvature material. So we can enable that. And then you can see now that it's taken a life of its own, and it's currently using a texture, a base color, a normal, and an ORD for this. And I can show you over here an example. So this is using, let me just open that material instance so I can show you. This is actually using a curvature map right in this slot, and this is what is generating. This is where all these all this coloring is sort of happening right now around the surface. And then here you can see it just by using the same curvature map and then with a different texture. So this is allowing us to blend various different textures together, which creates very interesting pattern and designs. So it's very powerful that you sort of like learn to use this and generate your own curvature baked maps from inside something like Substance Painter, for example. That could work just fine, right? And once you export it and bring it over into our material, into your project, you can have tiling of the material. So you've got in here tiling of the actual material used in there. You've also got the curvature of the actual, the tiling of the actual curvature itself. So you really, if that's baked, you want to kind of keep that to a 1-to-1, right? You've also got curvature intensity, which allows you to kind of bring that curvature in or remove it. You can add ambient occlusion in those areas. So again, right now, obviously that's going to be a bit too much. So we want to keep it to, a certain level. You can use a curvature contrast, which allows you to further refine these surfaces. You've also got displacement power for those layers underneath and there, and you can then again override metallic roughness and so on, just like you did before, but now, as I said, with just a curvature manipulation type of option. So this is really useful for when you're trying to create a lot of details within crevices or other areas, but it doesn't necessarily have to be a curvature map. It can be an ambient occlusion map. It can be something else entirely. So actually, if I go in here, I'm just going to look for, like for example, I don't know, I'm just going to go in this dirt road material in here, or actually, let me see if I got an AO map. Maybe I've got a map. No, unfortunately, I don't have an ambient occlusion map in here. But what I've shown you that you can put anything in there. Like right now, we could just search for a noise and drop that in there. So we can use this noise. And as you can see, that has already created a new curvature look. Unfortunately, this particular noise is extremely, well, it's not exactly great, is it? We need something with a bit more, like for example, maybe I can use something like this. Although it might not be visible. There we go. Right, so something like that. I've just used this XO type of thing. I'm just going to find something else, maybe this noise pattern. Right, so you can see now anything in black and white can be used here to generate the layer wherever you want it. So think about, be creative and create as many baked textures as you'd like for your mesh, and then just drop it in and create all sorts of interesting effects. So now one final type of setup would be a a sort of like think about a slope type of material. Right, so we do have a preview in here that allows us to kind of look at it, and the slope material is its own layer. So we've got material A, for example, and then we have a slope material. And right now the slope material is kind of visible on a slope type of math graph. So if we have a fall off power and a contrast, so for example, we can increase that contrast, and you can see the hard edge between material A and the slope material. Material slope is also, it's got an SI in there. Well, it was SL, sorry, an SL, so S from slope, and L, same thing from slope, right? And then you do have a fall off power, so you can increase or decrease that slope and how much it's occupying. This is going to be quite a useful, neat feature, especially on surfaces that have a lot of forward facing or top facing geometry like this, but you do have a slope angle. So you could, right now it's just saying it's doing it from the top, but you could, however, say, you know what, I want to shift a bit more from this side. So it's coming from this side right now, and you can always kind of go on, 0 here. So it's nothing coming from the top, but it's only coming from this angle. But then you could say, you know what, I want it to come from the other angle, so from here as well, and I don't want it to come at all from this side. And as you can see now, it's coming from the right. So just bear in mind that if you do -2, it will come from the left, right? So the red channel in this particular case will be left and right, minus and plus, and then the green channel will be front and back, okay, again minus and plus, and then the B channel is literally top and bottom. So you could just say, I don't want the slope to come from any direction, but instead I want it to come from a negative B value. So you can see now it's coming from below. So it's a very powerful type of tool. It functions as in exactly the same type of thing, which is like a full layer. So you do have base color, normal, ORD, and all that stuff that you normally would have, but with the added benefit of slope contrast and fall off power. And it also has, the ability, as I said, for the slope angle. But the rest of it is the same as all the other layers that you have used. So, if, for example, you could play around with the weight of the displacement, which is allowing you to kind of increase or decrease that in displacement. You can inflate or deflate it, which again can be very powerful. You do have also displacement controls here on their own. So for example, you can put a displacement over to a power of 1, and then again play around with these values on the displacement weight, which is allowing you to further customize how this surface looks. So it's a very, again, powerful way of doing things and combining layers, and then you can bake all of this into your final output to reduce instruction count of the material shader. Thank you guys for watching. This has been another video in the Surface Forge video series. This is part of module 3, where we learn how to use the Surface Forge in all of its functionality. Stay tuned for more videos on the topics. We're going to be exploring parallax occlusion mapping, parallax silhouette, displacement controls, displacement blending, water puddles, snow, and I think that will be it until the next update. So yeah, stay tuned for these videos to come out soon. And thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.